In this video, we're going to talk about what to do when you want your ex back. This is going to give you sort of some bigger picture things, very important, but still bigger picture. I also just wanted to let you know, my name is Clay with ModernLove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, do me a favor by hitting that thumbs up button for this video, and think about subscribing to the channel while you are down there as well, especially if you are new. Also, if you are new, you might want to get on our email newsletter. It is totally free. I'm going to give you a nice little report that kind of tells you some of the common advice that maybe you've heard elsewhere that just isn't really very true or very helpful in my opinion and in my experience. But anyway, that is all available down below in the description box, totally free. Feel free to sign up if you think it might be a good fit for you. Let's go ahead and get into this. So if you have recently gone through a breakup and you have decided that you want to get back together with your ex, there are a couple basic things that I would like to share with you that will help you to make more progress. The first one is that you want to get out of what we call damage control mode. Now, oftentimes after a breakup, the person on the receiving end of that breakup often ends up in a sort of panicked, anxious state that we call damage control mode. And this is what often causes people to do a lot of things that they pretty quickly figure out don't work, such as begging and pleading, calling or texting, way too often, trying to do things like have a grand romantic gesture in order to, demonstrate to your ex that you are serious, that you care about them, that you're going to make things work, things like that. These sorts of things very rarely play out well. If they did, you probably wouldn't be here. But these are all kind of motivated by a state of mind called damage control mode. And damage control mode, it's something that you absolutely want to get out of as quickly as possible. Because when you are operating from a place of damage control mode, it is nearly impossible to have an interaction that feels good on an emotional level with your ex, that brings the two of you closer together and helps them to realize that there is a viable path for us moving forward as a couple and a new relationship or whatever. But you want to get out of this damage control mode because you're going to be having interactions that actually feel bad when you're interacting with one another. And if you continue to have interactions that feel bad, you're just going to do more harm and create more and more distance between you and your ex. And the reason that these interactions feel bad is because you're kind of coming from it from a place, or at least your ex perceives that you're coming at it from a place of like, okay, I'm in pain. I'm going through this difficult breakup that you caused, by the way. So, guilt on you. You're not obviously saying this, but they're kind of picking it up this way. And I just want to feel better. And so the best thing that's going to make me feel better is for you to get back together with me. And I know that you have your whole emotional reasons for wanting to break up, but I don't care about those. I just want to feel good. So let's you and me get back together. And this is sort of what is often subtly and indirectly communicated through damage control mode sorts of behaviors, is that you are more interested in your own well-being emotionally, and that you're not so much interested in your ex's emotional experience. And so that's why we want to really work at getting out of damage control mode, okay? That's why we really want to work on the healing component and on making sure that you're able to have these connections that actually bring the two of you closer as opposed to further apart. Because, obviously we're going to want to have connections that bring us closer and closer together so that it becomes really obvious to them that, hey, maybe we should get back together, as opposed to further apart, which is going to make them feel really great and confirm them that they made the right choice in breaking up with you. So thing number one, get out of damage control mode. Thing number two is you want to be connection focused instead of relationship focused. Often when somebody is trying to get back together with their ex, they're very relationship focused. That is to say, they're focused on the outcome of let's get back together. Let's be in a relationship with one another. And that is not an enjoyable experience because it's going to make it seem like you are more interested in being in a relationship with your ex than you are in understanding where they're at, understanding who they are, understanding their concerns, understanding their emotions, okay? In effect, it's going to seem like you're using them as a means to an end in order to, just kind of tick the box of being in a relationship. Basically, you're coming off as that person who on a first date is like, talking about getting married and picking out the kids' names and all that. It's like, hey, you don't really know me that well. Let's talk and connect and see if we have things in common. And, maybe then in a year or so, we can think about getting married and all that. So you want to stay connection focused, where you're not so much focused on the outcome of getting back together and being in a relationship with this person, but you're staying focused on the connection, understanding where they're at, understanding how they're feeling, understanding what their concerns, fears, anxieties, doubts, all that stuff are, because the more you understand that and the less focused on outcome you are, the more they're going to start to open up to you, the more they're going to start to trust you, and the more they're going to actually enjoy interacting with you and get closer to you on an emotional level. And that brings us to the next thing, which is I want you to actually ignore a lot of the noise out there. There are a lot of people out there, no shortage of opinions out there, that'll tell you things like, fortune cookie advice, like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. There's plenty of fish in the sea. One about, if you love someone, let them go. If they come back to you, they loved you all along. If they don't, they never did. And these little, snappy, memorable bits of wisdom, if you want to call it that, have been passed down from generation to generation and all that. I mean, they're short, quippy little things that maybe you might find in a fortune cookie. That's why I call them fortune cookie advice. But these are not going to help you because they are based on just things that sound good rather than things that actually deliver experience. Other things I've had to talk people down from is I heard this song lyric. It makes me want to live my relationship life based on it. And it's like, I don't know if that's really the best thing to be making relationship decisions from, is just a catchy song lyric. It's usually better to actually look at what's working and to follow that rather than just something that sounds nice or something that's catchy, or even oftentimes breakup relationship experts, if you want to call them that. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different opinions. I have my opinion. They have their opinions. I'm sure they have lots of not so nice things to say about people like me. But there are other people out there that will tell you to do things like, it's all about a power game. You have to show your ex that you're less interested in them than they are in you, because it's whoever cares the least controls the relationship and all that sort of stuff. And it is my belief that if a relationship is going to work, it needs to be a cooperative venture rather than a competitive venture. If you are fundamentally seeing your ex or your partner or your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend as an enemy, or as someone that you need to think, multiple chess moves ahead of in some sort of elaborate manipulation game or something, that is not a good sign, and it is probably an indication that you are in a relationship with the wrong person. I believe that relationship should be more of a cooperative sort of thing, okay? And so what you need to do is you need to pick the side that you are on. Pick the philosophy that matches up with what you want to believe about yourself, what you want to believe about relationships, all that stuff. Don't just sort of take everyone's opinion, blend it together, and end up with some sort of confusing thing that doesn't really help you get where you want to go. Obviously, I am biased. I believe my own philosophy and opinions, and I believe the results that my clients have gotten and all of that. But I want you to pick something that works for you. If you believe that you need to be the alpha male and thump your chest and see women as opponents and enemies that are only interested in transactional relationships, then I am probably not the right person for you, and you should probably go see someone else. Likewise, if you believe that all men are only interested in one thing and will use you and leave you and need the thrill of the chase and all of that, then I am probably also not your guy. And you should probably also seek out someone else to help you. But what I want you to do is I want you to find someone whose approach speaks to you and then follow that, because that is much more likely to get you consistent results than if you just sort of are easily influenced and pulled off track by fortune cookie advice, different coaches, different philosophies, all of that sort of stuff, okay? Next up, I want you to take things one step at a time. As you're kind of moving forward and as you're focusing on the emotional connection, you are probably going to get stuck at some point or other. I've never seen someone who's been able to just kind of go from point A to point B, get back together. There it is. It's like simple and easy. There's usually a bunch of ups and downs along the way. And oftentimes people can sometimes get stuck in certain dynamics, like, oh, things are going well, then we accidentally have a fight, and then we have to pull back, and then things start to get better again, then we accidentally have another fight, and on and on and on it goes. And when that happens, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can call out the dynamic, let them know when something isn't working, and just shine a light on something. So for example, if your ex only allows you to get so close before they pull away, instead of just sort of like, what do I do? We just keep doing this same dance over and over again. Just call them out on it. Just say, hey, it seems like you're uncomfortable getting too close to me emotionally. Is there something going on that's causing that to be that way? Or is it maybe just all in my mind? And at least at that point, you're shining the light on it and actually able to have a real conversation about it, as opposed to just sort of reliving the same dynamic over and over and over again, okay? And then finally, you also want this to be a co-creation. This is, again, my philosophy. This may not necessarily apply to you if you're following some other coach's advice, but this relationship that you're having with your ex should be a co-creation. If the two of you are going to get back together, it should be something that works for both of you. It should be a co-creation that both of you make, and that's something that both of you can feel good about. This should not be about you like groveling for forgiveness, or you kind of, looking up at them on a pedestal. At the same vein, it shouldn't be about you kind of looking down your nose at them because you're the one on the pedestal or anything like that. This should be about two people who enjoy each other, two people that get value from each other's lives, two people that enjoy spending time with one another, just co-creating something that works for both of them and gets both of their needs met. And that is the ideal place for a relationship to grow out of, okay? So these are some things that I think are important to keep in mind when you want to get your ex back. We do have an entire playlist on the topic of getting back together with your ex. You can find it over here. We also have a video over here that might be useful for you as well too. But once again, thank you so much. If you like what we're doing, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. But anyway, my name is Clay. Talk to you in the next video. Take care.